Gray, look at that.
Yes, Sir Jack.
The sun rising on the African veldt. Most ancient landscape on the earth. Lions and hyenas roaring in the wings. And suddenly she springs over the horizon. See?
Yes, Sir Jack.
Yellow mane flaming in the sky.
Sir Jack.
Gray.
You don't think perhaps we should be contacting London by satellite? We have the dish all set up. After all, AFCO at this present moment
is engaged in the greatest takeover battle of its life.
Well, Natural International are hitting us with everything they've got.
Gray.
Jack?
Are the guns in the tent?
Yes.
Hurry along and get them then. The wildebeest are moving down to the watering hole. I am the managing director of AFCO, Gray. Everything has its time.
Of course, Sir Jack.
Good God, man. Look at those skies. Strange, Gray. Strange. We stand upon the ancestral lands of the Tabemba. Great warriors had a passion for fighting. Before battle, each warrior had to drink a pint of bull's blood. Must have had a lot of bulls, eh?
Yes, Sir Jack, yes.
Red blood, raw blood. And they chanted, dancing in circles, working themselves up hour after hour up into a frenzy. Know what they ended up believing?
No, Sir Jack.
That no spear, no sword, no bullet might harm them. It would pass through them. They were immortal, omnipotent. They were just about the right attitude to go into battle with.
No, indeed, yes.
Today we use satellites, telexes, telephones. The hatred, it's all done at long range, but it's still war.
You're going to send those messages then, Sir Jack, to our London office?
Not all, Gray. Just one. One in particular. Is on the table in the tent.
I'll send it.
The helicopter's ready for the hunting?
Yes, Sir Jack.
That soft little home county's Nancy boy in London, Julian Knight, really thinks he's going to hold off my takeover bid.
Mr. Knight, sir? Mr. Julian?
Yes.
Oh, you're not asleep, sir.
I am watching the dawn. When you two have earned enough money to earn your own 24-story office tower and live in the penthouse on top, I trust you two will develop a taste for spectacular panoramas. Behold, London at our feet.
Yes, Mr. Knight.
You wanted something?
The message you were awaiting, sir, from AFCO in Africa has arrived. We intercepted reprogramming the British Telecom satellite receiver to send us a copy gratis. It has been decoded.
And my stockholders always complain about the money squandered on our electronics. What good are electronics to a company specializing in health foods, records, newspapers, and cheap airline flights, they say. I could tell them, but I won't.
AFCO's shipment is due to depart Tampere, Africa at 3:30 this afternoon, our time by air. It will arrive at Heathrow 5:30 a.m. our time tomorrow morning, where it will be transferred by bonded security van down the M4 to AFCO's West London warehouse in Hammersmith. There it will be inspected by Her Majesty's Customs at 8 a.m. The shipment is described as bullion.
Never been famous for his imagination, Black Jack. Soon he won't be famous for anything bloody colonial has-been provincial backwoodsman. Well, Kite, you'd better get to work, haven't you? Start making certain discreet telephone calls.
At once, sir.
What time is it?
It's 6:30, sir. In the morning.
Young Hopkins of security, isn't he on duty at the moment?
I'll only be about 30 minutes, sir, on my call.
Ask him to come up. Make sure he keeps that nice leather jacket of his on. We'll spend an agreeable hour or so romping head on the bed before work starts in the offices downstairs. What's the name of that new editor of mine for the Comet?
You mean Mike Monk, Mr. Knight?
That's right. I'm due to see him at 9.
You sure you want to see young Hopkins, Mr. Knight? He's got the most frightful pimples. I'll only be about 20 minutes at the most.
You're jealous, Kite. All right. Press the electric button. Draw back all the curtains. Let's imagine the whole panorama of London observing us as we wrestle on our bed like gods upon Olympus.
Cornflakes, cornflakes. When you've finished with the milk, perhaps I could have it for my muesli.
Cornflakes are undoubtedly the most disgusting, polluted artifacts of our consumer society ever produced by man. Effluence of patriarchy and racial oppression. but I love 'em.
Stop being flippant, Andrew. The cardboard in the package has more nutritional value.
Than the cornflakes themselves. I know! I run an ecology magazine.
Any chance of you disappearing fairly soon?
Oh, well, let me finish first. Oh, look, I'm sorry for being flippant.
Well, it just gets a bit wearing at times.
Well, I do value our time together. Tuesday and Thursday nights. Just the two of us. Relating.
Don't talk like that, Andrew. It confuses the issue. You're a man, I'm a woman.
Yeah.
False emotions have shackled women for far too long. Please finish your cornflakes. Cynthia and some of the sisters are coming at 9:30. We're having an intergroup relating session. Oh, God, I hope they're not here already. They'll see you.
Oh, man. Naked and unadorned, eating his cornflakes.
I'll get the door.
My, girlfriend? She with whom I have an ongoing personal interrelationship situation, Shirley. My sweet, lovely Shirley.
A delivery man.
This package?
I have asked you not to use my place as an address.
I haven't. I wonder what it is. Oh, quite compact. Cardboard looks quite nutritious. My God. Who sent me this?
What is it?
What was the man like who delivered it?
Slovenly, in a uniform. Like most other men, spent most of his time trying to look down my nightie.
Who would send me a Geiger counter?
Someone who wants you to discover some nuclear radiation, I should suppose. For the last 10 years, you've been making your living...
Just.
Out of exposing nuclear scandals.
Yeah, great. Campaigning journalist exposes all. But who? That's the question. Who wants me to...
Andrew, I don't have time to pander to your masculine power fantasies. It's past 9 and Cynthia and the sisters are almost here. You know how sensitive Cynthia is where men are concerned.
In her crew cut and Doc Martens, Cynthia has never been sensitive.
No sexist comments, please. Your beloved bike awaits you in the hall. See you Thursday evening.
I thought we might go to the new Spielberg film. I enjoy a good cry and lots of bicycles.
Sorry. The sisters want me to see that new film about the exploitation of women tin miners in Bolivia.
Oh. Sounds fun. My bicycle is not any bicycle. I'm an egalitarian in all things except the bicycle. My bicycle is a 1953 Claude Butler, white alloy frame with 10-speed derailleur gears. A quintessence of engineering, an equilibrium of perfection, an aristocrat among all bicycles. For 18 months on cold floors covered in newspaper with aching knees and brows covered in black oil, I laboured at rebuilding, restoring this delicate, exquisite creature to her youthful glory. So now she runs smooth as the sewing machine, swift as a hawk. Through the grimy streets of London with grinding gears and diesel fumes and cursing motorists, between dirty tenements and towering juggernauts, I slip lithe as a summer swallow, swaying through gaps, across lights, around jams, gleaming white in the summer sun. From Tufnell Park, down the back road to Camden Town, then by devious back roads loud with unloading lorries to the squash and carnage of King's Cross. Shoot out down Farringdon, making my way to Clerkenwell, the Covent Garden that never was. Dim, gloomy warehouses, corner shops, sandwich bars, small, sweaty printing presses. Home of dissident small-scale voices and publications down the ages. William Blake, Karl Marx, William Morris, Lenin, Orwell, all have sat here in Clerkenwell and talked and written and toppled empires. My magazine is at number 37 Kropotkin Rise.
The beast will be breaking for the waterhole any second.
Yes, Sir Jack.
The weak got all the first to break. There. See? 1, 2, 3, breaking for the water. Bring the helicopter down, pilot. Down!
creatures.
Sea Grey, learn to wait.
Freedom of the press.
Oh, yes, Mr. Knight.
Call me Julian. All my editors have. The freedom of the editor from proprietorial interference, Mike. That's what our first editorial should cover. And the front page.
You don't think perhaps this story about Labour councils giving sex free on the rates? No? Oh, this very nice story one of our reporters has been working up about these nude murders in Ipswich.
Mr. Monk. Mike. Do you realize what is happening within my company? Within this newspaper, the flagship of my company, we are under siege. Actual physical siege.
Yes.
Natural International, my Natural International, has become the target for the most vicious, the most unscrupulous takeover bid in history. And the British people must know.
Of course.
I have spent 15, nearly 20 years building up an efficient, infinitely complex enterprise. An extremely successful enterprise.
Of course.
And what happens?
Unscrupulous South African magnate in takeover grab.
South African? Jack Watson is far too clever to be tarred with a brush of apartheid. Of course, he has all his top management and organisation there, but he has every black politician south of the Sahara in his pocket, too. Especially Colonel Sahid of Tambia.
Yeah?
He's godfather to their sons and sends their daughters with his daughters to private schools here in England. Watson is not naive. AFCO has massive investments in black African mining, petrochemicals, energy. And now, he has decided he wants a respectable facade. He wishes to become a Fleet Street proprietor. Why do you think I chose Mike Monk to become editor of my newspaper?
Because I'm highly regarded within my profession. Because I can put the boot into Black Jack Watson.
I want big, punchy stories exposing him.
Right.
Look about you. The most modern newspaper in the country. Word processors, type and printing presses, instant electronic access. No union problems, because I don't have any unions. No wonder he wants it.
I think I understand what you're after, Mr. Knight.
Hit him. Incidentally, who wrote this story on the Ipswich nude murders?
Thompson, sir. Nigel Thompson.
What's his background?
Cut his teeth in investigative journalism. Well, you know, the alternative press, secret nuclear explosion rocks Guildford type of thing.
Now he's doing nude murders shake Ipswich.
Right, yeah.
Keep an eye on him. Useful people, journalists.
Up 4 flights of dusty stairs, my magazine, in a converted warehouse. Converted into a rabbit warren of offices and workshops. Jewellers, astrologers, acupuncturists, gay whales against the bomb, you name it. And my office is at the very top. On the door, a Free the Trees poster and a sticker defiantly proclaiming nuclear-free Clerkenwell. While the other side juggle 50,000 nuclear warheads on their ever more scorched fingers, we make up funny stickers.
Still typing, Lizzie?
Don't worry. I have been home since you left last night.
Messages? Post?
Articles for the next issue on pollution in Poland and the South American rainforest. Amazonian tribesmen seem to have a marginally better existence than Polish miners. There's 3 illegible letters from readers criticising our new illegible format.
Well, they should try paying our printers' bills.
Well, there's one of those as well. A reminder of a reminder, threatening Star Wars if we don't pay.
Any subscriptions?
One. And he, she, or it forgot to include their postal order with it.
Oh, God. Is it worth it, I ask myself?
What?
This. The squalor, Lizzie. Producing a magazine nobody reads.
Special branch do. They've just renewed their subscription. And their cheque didn't bounce.
I mean, look at the heaps of back copies blocking out the daylight. Probably enough paper there to reconstitute half the Amazonian rainforest.
You're looking for sympathy.
Me?
You're in luck. I'm feeling quite maternal this morning. It's your sweet little bald patch that does it.
I mean, look at my old friend Nigel Thompson. Used to sit just where you're sitting, slaving to starve his humanitarian conscience. And what happened? Swallowed whole by Julian Knight's Daily Comet. Income of 35 grand, owns a 4-dustbin residence in Rickmansworth. Last time I saw him, a trained biologist, He was researching a story on whether vegetables have a sex life.
Andrew?
Lizzie?
Somewhere in the far-flung reaches of the world's oceans, there swims a whale. Well, several whales, many whales. Right whales, sperm whales, blue whales, that would not be plying their majestic ways with the lonely waves were it not for you sitting here in your chair typing your stories.
A tear is coming to my eye.
There are children alive today who would have been aborted had you not campaigned against various chemicals. Old people still alive whose bone marrow would have rotted because they lived too close to certain unregulated nuclear power stations.
Cool.
Now, having massaged your wilting ego,
40 next
perhaps
birthday,
you'd like
that's
to
my
share
trouble.
a recycled tea bag with me.
Great.
Oh, incidentally, there was a message for you.
Oh, yeah?
Someone phoned it into the computer terminal last night. Something about you and a Geiger counter.
What? Oh, come on. Instant access, they say. Why a dusty computer in a Dickensian office devoted to ecology? Remember those heady days of the 60s, the triumph of alternative technology, an electronics revolution decentralizing information and power? Everyone would have access to everything. Commune would speak under commune. Our magazine ran endless articles on it. Sounds loony now. Electronic vision of the 80s is implanting all the unemployed with Japanese videos rerunning endless episodes of Dallas. But there are still a few wild-eyed cowboys of the airways left about. A few of us believers and righteous brothers still hanging in there. At last, a letter. Dear Mr. Smith, we trust you are in receipt of our Geiger counter delivered to you this morning. As a journalist with a considerable reputation in nuclear matters... Oh, thank you. We feel sure that an incident that is to occur within the Greater London area in the next 24 hours will be of interest to you. If you stay by the phone in your office, we will be able to inform you immediately of when and where it has occurred. Don't forget to bring your Geiger counter. Yours sincerely, an admirer. What the hell is going on?
Tea. Andy, cup of tea for you. You all right?
That message on the computer. Somebody, somewhere, is setting me up. I can feel it.
What do you mean?
This person knows there's going to be a nuclear incident before it occurs. And the only people with access to nuclear material are the Atomic Energy Authority and the Ministry of Defence.
Oh.
You know how all the really big stories break? Well, the public think they're all done by intrepid reporters sniffing through backdoor and boudoir and abattoir. Bernstein and Woodward and Watergate, well, it's not like that at all. They break when one section of the powerful fall out with another section and leak a damaging story to the press. Then the other side counter-leaks, and before you know where you are, there's happy bedlam reigning, and the public, for once, are actually hearing something approximating to the truth. Lizzie.
Andy.
Do something extremely rash. Throw open the petty cash box, and there you will find a £10 note.
A £10 note?
Yes. The magazine hasn't paid out its prizes for this month's bingo competition. Purloin the said note.
Dirty deed is done.
Take a number 73 bus to Stoke Newington. Go to my bedsit. Here's my key.
All right.
And there you'll find my sleeping bag and a can of 3-in-1 oil for my Claude Butler. At Patel's newsagent on the corner, buy a large pork pie, a pound of Cox's orange, and make it 3 really huge, disgusting chocolate bars.
You'll stay here.
Yeah, I've got to. Can't leave the phone. If this story breaks, we'll be in tea bags for life. Who says ecology doesn't pay?
Good evening. This is Peter Day with Financial Report Tonight. Later, a look at share prices after today's surge on the stock market and the rise of the pound in the foreign exchanges. But first, the latest on the increasingly acrimonious takeover battle between Sir Jack Watson's AFCO Corporation, and Julian Knight's Natural International. Francine Stock has the details.
AFCO, the African-based mining conglomerate specializing in coal, copper, diamonds and uranium, today posted offer documents to the 24,000 natural shareholders, offering them only 340 pence per share, while the stock market currently values them 40 pence higher at 382. Natural is the business empire originally built up by the young, unconventional Julian Knight in the 1960s, that started in health foods and rock records, but today includes airlines, newspapers and electronics. Quite what AFCO finds so appealing in Natural is baffling to city experts. Striking back, the ever-controversial Julian Knight today told his shareholders that AFCO suffers from dreary direction, cumbersome management, and warned that its future trading performance is likely to be weak and tired.
Only half a bar of chocolate left. Orange flare neon shines hard on Clerkenwell. Traffic falls away, except lorries from Wapping thundering through the night. I do not sleep. Through the long hours I await the telephone. At last, as the orange glare of night gives way before the soft greys of dawn, at the very ebb of life, as once more the electronic messages and demands from around the world flock heavy in the skies above London, it starts to ring.
Hello?
A gravelly, inhuman voice disembogues its message. Stopped.
I'll be there.
The keen, hungry air of early morning as my feet bite into the pedals. I fly through clean, empty streets, even Fleet Street and the Old Bailey chased in the early morning light, flee along the Strand, wheeling free about Trafalgar Square and up the Mall. Hard down Cromwell Road, Gloucester Road, the Great West Road, racing the lights, cutting through the chill emptiness till my road widens in a wilderness of factories and wired enclosures, car and lorry parks, 1,000 warehouses and railway sidings, and for rent signs. Cul-de-sac. Empty except for 2 parked lorries and, at the end, a warehouse, its door flapping idly in the wind. I pedal slow, my body slow motioning upon the pedals, my mind taut. The door still flaps, to and fro, beckoning. I edge towards it. No one's about. I look within. A deserted warehouse, except in the middle, standing alone, a triple S security van, strong, safe and secure, or so it's claimed, its rear door wrenched open, inviting. Terrible silence. I approach, look, climb within. A guard, dead and crumpled on the floor. Some mother's son. And my Geiger counter starting to shriek blue murder. For the first time, I am tasting power. And then I hear the police sirens whooping across London. Time I was leaving and learning. Finding a body. The day's cold, but my body's colder as I pedal fast, disjointed through the back streets and service roads of Hammersmith. Seeking warmth, somewhere to think. What I really want is a morning transport cafe, smug condensation on the windows, low murmur of talk and elbows on table. Bacon, eggs, tomatoes, chips, bread and marge with 3 cups of tea piled high with sugar. It calms you down. Instead, I find Uncle Mac's 24-hour burger experience. A sort of neon-infested emporium where the food makes you hungrier and the most nutritious thing on the menu is the menu.
Jumbo burger with pecan sauce, additive and handy-packed golden french fries to go. Our special selected sunshine onion.
Burger and chips, please. With a large coffee.
That's big. £3.11.
£3 in it? Oh, sorry, love. Here you go.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Munching on a grease burger, perching on a stool specifically designed to keep customers seated for as short a time as possible, is hardly the place to think deeply. Who was sending who radioactive materials in a gold bullion van? Who arranged the robbery? Presumably the same people who sent me the Geiger counter. They knew what they were robbing. And why, above all, am I, an ecology journalist, involved? These people aren't your usual bunch of nuclear protesters sitting meekly outside some power station. This lot rob bullion vans. They kill security guards. My heart beats faster. Uncle Mac's laboratory-honed food additives are getting to work. I rise, dispose my plastic disposables down a convenient disposy bin. I depart. I find a non-vandalised phone box. Phone an ex-colleague. Used to work alongside me on the Green Times till marriage and mortgage swallowed him. Now he's on Fleet Street's top tabloid.
Daily Comet.
Daily Comet?
Daily Comet.
Can you help me?
Daily Comet.
I'd like to speak to Nigel Thompson, please.
Nigel Thompson.
He's a reporter on your paper, your science correspondent, I believe.
Put you through to Paul.
Well, yeah, but,
Paul?
Oh, hello. I'm searching for Nigel Thompson.
Speaking.
Nigel? Didn't realise you were Paul. Thought you were the Comet science correspondent. Had your own office. Oh, it's Andy, by the way. Andy Smith.
Andy, how are you?
On a bicycle, in a phone box. Oh, not at the same time.
Doesn't sound like you've changed. Yes, I was this august publication science correspondent for a while. Then I got switched to religious affairs.
Oh, Vickers and sex, you mean?
Oh, more. Is there sex after death? My night with the ghost in the naughty nighty. Now suddenly I find myself dropped in the pool, learning to drink with the pack.
Is there sex after Elvino's?
Yeah, very funny. Anyway, what can I do for you?
Has there been anything on the wires this morning about a bullion van being robbed?
Oh, there's a coincidence. Yes, about half an hour ago. I've just this minute been detailed to cover it. Yeah, let's see it. Hang on. Yeah, a Triple S security van on the M4, on its way from Heathrow, hijacked on the motorway, dumped in a Hammersmith warehouse.
That's it. A security guard was shot dead.
Really? Where are you speaking from, Andy?
Hammersmith.
I see. So what precisely do you want me to do? You seem to have got all the angles covered.
Well, you going to the police press conference on it?
Yeah, Scotland Yard's holding one at 11 o'clock. We've dispatched a photographer to Hammersmith.
Nigel, could you listen very carefully at the press conference to what exactly the cargo in the van was? Whether there's the slightest hint of anything strange, radioactivity even?
What?
Radioactivity, uranium, plutonium.
Andy, you don't think that you're perhaps a trifle paranoid? I mean, I know plutonium is the libido of the alternative press. Is there sex after nuclear holocaust? But don't you think you're going a fraction far? This is a big professional bullion job.
Who's the one in Hammersmith, Nigel?
Touche. Okay, I'll keep my ears open. Where can I get in touch with you?
Phone me at the magazine, the old number.
Oh, the old number. Solar power, a wind generator in every back garden, adopt a whale, free the trees. Remember those times, Andy?
I'm still living them, Nigel.
Ah, Mike. Good morning, Mr. Knight. Thanks for coming all the way up to the 23rd floor. Just read your editorial about the independence of the editor.
Yes?
Don't mind my bathrobe, about to take a shower.
Oh, brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. Couldn't have written it better myself. Blackjack Watson subverting the freedom of the British press is a threat to the entire nation, the fabric of society. You hit the nail beautifully on the head.
Yes?
That, however, is not the reason I called you up here. That young reporter I was talking about covered those nude murders in Ipswich, exposed them, I should say.
Nigel Thompson?
Yes. I hope his potential is being realized.
Oh, of course, sir. I've just put him on this bank robbery story. I think it's going to be very big.
Good. Or perhaps you could ask him to pop up here when he has a minute or two.
Every executive in creation is trying to get down the Westway in his customised Ford Sierra. The chokes pulled so far out they're wrapped around their rear bumpers. I pedal slow through lead-filled clouds of exhaust. In such surroundings, it's not surprising I don't notice a grimy yellow British Telecom van nosing along behind me.
Ah, that was quick. Yeah, you're Nigel Thompson.
Good morning, Mr. Knight.
Call me Julian. Thanks for coming all the way to the 23rd. Hope you weren't in the middle of a story.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Julian, no trouble. Oh, very pleasant penthouse you have here. Lovely purple curtains. Distinctive furniture. And a wonderful view.
Yes.
From 23 stories.
I like to keep all my companies under me. Live over the shop, so to say. Third highest direction in the city of London. Looks out across the whole panorama of London. The kingdoms of the world. But come and look at the view from my desk. Come over.
Goodness. What an extraordinary collection of electronics.
A time chart of the world. An electronic directory that enables me to locate any number I might require in the world and dial it, simply by touching it on the screen. A second-by-second update on the latest prices on the stock exchange, currency, futures, metal, grain, and shipping markets across the world. I can touch the number of my broker on this screen, speak to him instantly, and in 30 seconds, £2 million sterling of mine will have converted into yen, and I will have made £7,362.03. Peanuts.
Most impressive.
It gives me a necessary overview of the world in which we live.
You wanted me up here, Julian.
Thank you for reminding me. I want a word with you, Nigel. Come over and sit with me on the sofa.
This?
No, not the white one. Let's sit in the purple.
Being in ecology, a journalist pretty soon gets to know certain companies, the villains, mining companies, refining companies, chemical companies, the cowboys who don't care how much they smear the biosphere. You get to know almost instinctively how they interlock, intercontrol, interrelate each to the other. Companies House, newly computerized and accessible to outside subscribers, also helped. After only half an hour over my grimy black and white office terminal, I get a result. The van belonged to Triple S Security. Triple S belongs to a food chain that is owned by Crown Investments, itself run from Switzerland and a wholly owned subsidiary of Intco, itself controlled by AFCO. There we are, in black and white. Black Jack Watson rears his ugly head once more into the biosphere. AFCO, specializing in pollution, coal, copper, gold, and uranium. We have a candidate for the cargo's owner. Now, who robbed him? Who knew? Well, perhaps he robbed himself. After all, HM Customs were waiting to inspect his cargo only 2 miles down the road. Green Times magazine.
Andy, it's Nigel.
There's a terrible line.
I'm phoning from the press conference.
Scotland Yard?
Yeah. I'm afraid there was no confirmation to your theory about radioactivity from spokesmen or questioners. It all seems relatively straightforward.
Can you speak up, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was a massive bullion job. 2 million's worth of gold was flown into Heathrow from Tambia.
Tambia?
Yeah, in Africa.
Isn't that where Black Jack Watson runs the show?
Yeah, took it over. Just as he wants his AFCO corporation to take over the Daily Comet. Owns the mines, owns the government. Also, all the Tambian exiles in London keep complaining on late-night television.
And the government being Colonel Saeed, the well-known humanitarian and man of peace.
If it's airline passengers you want cremated by terrorists or whole villages put to the bayonet, Saeed's your man.
And he has an ambitious nuclear program.
God help us all. Andy?
Yeah?
Look, to change the subject completely, Rickmansworth.
Rickmansworth?
Yes, Leafy Rickmansworth. Helen and I were wondering if you'd like to come out for Sunday lunch.
Lunch?
Well, stop repeating everything I say. Yes. We were thinking that, well, maybe we'd invite some friends over for a few drinks.
As he talks, I glance out of the window at the busy street beneath. A street trader tries to look as well established as Harrods as he keeps an eye out for the police. A young dosser warms himself on the pavement grill above a sweaty printing press. And a pink and white striped British Telecom tent flaps above an uncovered manhole. Perhaps that's why the line's so bad. The wind lifts the flap. A man in headphones is staring up at me, directly at me. As he sees me watching, he turns, says something to the man in the hole. The crackling gets worse. He turns and grins straight up at me. And I thought that since privatisation they weren't allowed to bug your phones.
Nigel, I've got to go. I'll phone you later.
It is necessary to depart. Scarpa, vamoose. Snatch up papers, tapes, notes, stuffing them in a satchel, grabbing my bike. Pound down the stairs, 3 at a time, jagging my rear mudguard on the banisters. At the bottom, cunning momentarily overcomes panic. Out the back, while they watch the front. Streak down the cul-de-sac from the back of the building, but as I approach the end, the lurching yellow telecom van skids to a halt before me. With a flick of the wrist, I whisk down a back alley, scattering pedestrians, emerge on busy Farringdon Street, as 50 yards behind, the yellow van lunges, screeching round behind me. Up Charterhouse, down Holborn and Newgate, I can hold him. He making up on the straight open bits, but I win on the traffic lights. Not that either of us stop, but other motorists do. Oh, God bless lovely plump overweight juggernauts behind which he must fume. Roll on the 40-tonners. This mob aren't very subtle. They wanted me to know they were tapping my phone. Are they trying to catch me now? Or scare me? Moorgate, Threadneedle Street, Cornhill, the maze of the city, Grace Church, Fenchurch, me turning down back streets blocked by merciful delivery vans, vast doors swinging out, missing me by inches. I slip beneath. Eventually, in the Barbican, I jump a curb and shoot across a pedestrian precinct, guarded by sturdy stone bollards into which he crouches. He follows on foot, but amid the concrete catacombs of culture and carpet, I lose him, creeping out eventually amid a crowd of Japanese tourists dreamily emerging from Macbeth.
Supernatural stories cannot be good. If ill, why have it given me earnest of success? Commencing in a truth. I am a man of Kodor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion? What already Mr. John fix my hair and make my shaded heart look at my ribs? Against the uses of nature, pleasant fears are less than horrible imagining.
I find a telephone box. Put a call through to my person friend, Shirley.
We are sisters assembled here. We are powerful. We are strong. Let all men and their power fantasies and violent hang-ups be banished far from here. Let our women's power go out into the community. Oh, shit. Hang on, sisters. Don't lose the spirit. Keep bombing on. Yes? Yes, who is it?
Shirley, I'm sorry to call now. It's Andy.
Andy, I've told you not to phone me now. We sisters are right in the midst of a consciousness-raising session, trying to do something positive about aggression and male violence.
Yeah, great, Shirley. I'm with you 100%. But the thing is, I'm right in the middle of a really... I know this might sound daft, but a really dangerous situation myself.
Oh, now perhaps you know what it feels like to be a woman.
Indeed, I do. But what I really need is shelter, Shirley. Somewhere to...
Andy, we've discussed this many times. I have my space, you have your space.
Yes, but...
Sorry about that, sisters. A man. Now, where were we? Yes.
I'm afraid Shirley's always been a bit aggressive when she's been with the sisters. We men do seem to be getting more and more marginal in the modern world. No wonder Clint Eastwood clings to his Magnum and I hang on to my bicycle so dearly. My beautiful 1953 Clopapa. Oh, the two-wheel friend, he'll never let you down. There's a bit of Walworth that isn't forever concrete. Amid a desert of high rises and misery, suddenly there's a common, a clearing of green and trees, and in the midst of this blasphemous idyll stands, all alone, a battered terrace of Victorian houses, a little cobbled street in the midst of Bedlam. The squatters here were so fierce, so deeply entrenched, that every claw-like swoop by bulldozer and local council failed to shift them. Now front doors stay open on the latch, red brick walls flower with murals, and back gardens boast plump chickens and fat vegetables. Sanity, too, has its little asylums. My friend lives upstairs. He lives in the attic. Or several attics run together, in fact. He was our magazine's first electronics correspondent, in those heady days when microchips and computer and satellite were there to free all men, not enslave them. Remember. Our correspondent, however, became less and less interested in writing mere words, and, stuck in his attic, more and more absorbed in writing software, constructing hardware. From nowhere, he elegantly conspired up crystalline palaces of resistors and transistors and microchips, electronic warrens of programs and knowledge and power, gradually expanding his empire from attic to attic along the roofs. Eventually, it bristled and grumbled like GCHQ in a thunderstorm. His joy, his obsession, his life's work, to win his way right through into the very heart of the most secret computer system. To boldly hack where no hack has ever hacked before. To unlock the spirit that moves military satellites through the skies and helps pay all outstanding electricity bills.
So I'm going into this closed system, see? Won't tell you which one. Well-known high street bank, actually. And I'm worried about my data format parity setting, right? You know, in a typical asynchronous protocol, like, each character is surrounded by bit binary digits to show when it starts and when it ends, to show whether it's a checksum performed on its binary equivalents comes out odd or even.
Yeah, right.
But that, like, is only one of its ways of stopping you. Really clamshell, this system. It's tight as a camel's backside in a sandstorm. It only uses ideal terminal emulator systems and its software systems, see? So I've got to try out its variants while I'm still on the line. Hey. I'm brainstorming, the computer's brainstorming, and one of us has got to burn.
Goodness.
5 hours and 20 minutes later, though, as the sun is rising over the high rises of Bermondsey, it's the computer that burns, crunches, and I'm into it, like a rat up a drain pipe.
So what did you do?
Oh, you like this, Rich? I left a little instruction in its program. Tomorrow morning, every computer and every high street branch in Britain will bear the tastefully designed message, Birmingham drizzle was here.
Is that all? After all that effort? You might at least have withdrawn all the bank's funds from South Africa.
No, it's the system that matters. Crunching the system. Getting more and more stuff from behind the Iron Curtain. They're like us 15 years ago, building their own stuff, starting to hack away. Laszlo from Budapest, right, is a governmental engineer. Just sent me a whole lot of stuff about this dam the Czechs are building. Will lower the water table by 2 feet and ruin the ecology. No more geese on the Great Hungarian Plain. Thought you might be interested in that.
Yes.
So, to what do I owe the pleasure, Andrew? Shift the baked bean tins and the cat and sit down.
Oh, thanks. Well, this is confidential.
That's really like.
You don't think that by any chance you might be able to break into the police computer at Hendon? In particular, into Special Branch's records?
Shouldn't be impossible. After all, they're always so busy sticking their noses into everyone else's business. They probably never dream anyone will look into theirs. And careless in their security, I bet. What are you after?
I want to see their reports on a bullion robbery this morning in Hammersmith. Find out whether there are any political or nuclear aspects to it.
Sounds tasty. Tell you what, how's about you doing us a nice big plate full of beans on toast? Start the day on the right note, while I get all my preliminaries set up.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, and could you do the necessaries by the cat?
Yeah, right. I did the necessaries by the cat. Cat didn't seem to mind too much. I then prepared a mountain of margarine slices of toast and baked beans into which Birmingham launched himself, his eyes never leaving his screen, his fingers ever dancing out new variations on the keyboard. I washed several sinkfuls of bean-stained plates, hoovered the floor, made the bed, and visited the laundromat with many generations of Birmingham's underwear. Eventually, as daylight draws to a close and the evening sun slants in through the attic windows, interesting combinations start to come together. The codes by which you enter the computer, the systems that exist within her. So you can start asking the right questions straight away without arousing too much attention. Eventually, one obstacle remained.
She's aged 28, isn't married, and apparently is called Doreen.
Doreen?
She's Special Branch's concession to security. She sits at their computer in Hendon, and if any one of the calls don't smell kosher, she phones them back. Foolproof. Oh, don't be despondent, Andrew. How do you think I won me handle, Birmingham Drizzle? Computer hacking isn't just about system busting. It's also psychology. Behold, Birmingham Drizzle in all his glory.
Hendon CT.
Hello?
Hendon CT.
Hello, is that Doreen?
Yeah?
How are you getting on then, Doreen? Remember me, Mark Blockswitch, West Midlands Special Branch?
Who?
Met you at the office social last Christmas, remember? You're 28 and unmarried, right? I was the one with the holly leaves sticking out from your hair.
Oh.
And I was telling you all about the difficulties I was having with me double glazing, remember that? How it was all condescending up the rooms, blotting out the woodwork in me windows like, and leaving damp patches in all the walls.
What's your...
By the way, how's the weather down in London? I was speaking to Dave Fields in Bristol, says the sun's shining out there.
Oh, it's shining here as well, I think.
Amazing, isn't it? The whole country basks in tropical sunshine like, and what happens up here in Birmingham? Pours with rain, heaving it down. Makes you wonder, if the...
What's your code, Birmingham?
Pardon?
I asked for your access code.
Oh, my access code, got it here somewhere. All this paperwork, right? No rest for the wicked, Doreen? Here we are. 734607B, all right.
Thank you. You're through.
We're in. You got us in.
Amazing, isn't it? Just speak to anyone in a thick, brummy accent, start talking to them about the weather, all the rain we've been having recently, and they just don't want to know. Anyone think we brummies were boring?
We diligently searched through Special Branch's vast files, starting with the main index and today's log. Under the robbery there was little, time and place. A query that it might be political, terrorist-related, quickly dismissed. But always they referred to it as a gold robbery. Never a sniff of radioactivity. One reference to a grass who had mentioned a rumour of the raid 2 weeks before. E.B. He wasn't on SB's files, even on the CID's, but on the drug squad. The drug squad. Eric Butler, also known as Smooth Move Eric, 27, Caucasian, blonde, 5'8", slight build, string of heroin convictions as long as the needle scars all down his arm. Heroin? The file listed Eric's habitual haunts. He drew a line from Piccadilly Circus to Leicester Square to Tottenham Court Road, and he'd be within it. Within the embrace of that ancient, heartless old crone mother Soho. Crammed with the young, the homeless, the unemployed, our nation's future forgotten, drifting, clinging above the abyss of oblivion. Kevin from Gateshead sniffing glue, once some mother's son, held in her loving arms amongst drying nappies. Sandra from Somerset selling her 14-year-old body to keep her and her friends in hamburgers. Cruel city. Cruel country. I trekked from soulless arcade to soulless amusement arcade. Approached the men behind the change counter, trying to look 17 ways simultaneously from behind their dark glasses.
You know Eric?
What?
Eric.
Eric who?
Smooth Move Eric.
I know Spotty Eric. There's Eric the Red, bloody young anarchist, always breaking into my jackpots with a crowbar.
No. Eventually, a direction. To an unlighted back alley where, amid the dustbins, Smooth Move Eric plies his unlovely trade. I edge into the darkness.
Eric? Eric? Oh, blooming dustbins.
Suddenly, I see Eric. His final move had not been a smooth one. He died thrashing amid the dustbins, his throat cut generously, gaping from ear to ear. Son of a son. I backed gingerly away. I would speak to the police, call them. But then, as we know, Eric... Rickmansworth. Oh, Rickmansworth. The glories of a wealthy English suburb on a sunny Sunday morning. Green hedges, yellow broom, red flowers, blue skies. On my swooping, sweeping white swallow, I slip the grime and horror of inner London and sail serene, elegant as a swan, except for the occasional pothole. The knobbier the suburb, the more potholes they have in their roads. It gives that exclusive farm track feel to their suspensions and keeps out all those ghastly Kevins and Sharons from Watford in their escorts and corteges. Nigel Thompson, my one-time colleague and fellow founder of the Green Times, has done well by himself. 4 years upon Julian Knight's Daily Comet, and look whereunto he has clambered. And perhaps, as an insider, he knows something of the internal wranglings of the two companies.
Look at her, Andy? I know you think I've sold out, lost my soul working for the fiendish Julian Knight, but look at her. She's immaculate.
Very impressive.
Oh, you don't know the hours I've slaved over her. The second I'm off the train, I'm into me wellies and onto her. Digging, forking in mould and manure, scattering bone meal.
What wonderful carrots. The rows are immaculate.
Totally self-sufficient in vegetables and fruit we are, with the freezer. All year round we can live off what I've grown here. And we've got the mini orchard over there, russets.
Why is he rabbiting on like this? Vegetables, vegetables, vegetables. Looking back on it, you can see why. He was putting on an immense effort to appear natural. And what could appear more natural than proving to me he has a conscience about ecology?
I know it's a fantasy, that just over the hedge there are millions of other houses and chemical factories and motorways, but here, oh, look at it. Blossom, the greenness. Listen to the birds and the bees. An English garden on an English summer's day. Come on, I'll introduce you to the other guest. Top up your glass.
What's your wife's name?
Helen. And the two children are Simon and Geoffrey. Helen will be keeping them indoors, though. They can make a lot of row over dinner. You still with them?
Shirley?
Yes.
Indeed. We still have a rigorously honest interrelationship situation. At the moment, though, I'm giving her space to explore the parameters of her inner femininity.
You mean she's a dyke?
Well, she is much influenced by feminism.
You poor soul.
Oh, why poor? I'm in love with her. All the paradoxes I have to deal with keep me young and limber. I envy your children, though.
Those are my mortgage you're welcome to. Ah, here you are, Anne.
Nigel.
You must have got here while we were looking at the vegetables.
I passed you. You were both wrapped in such intense concentration, I thought I must have stumbled across an obscure Rickmansworth vegetable cult in the midst of worship.
Oh, you've got a drink.
Helen fixed it. Hello, I'm Anne Rogers.
Oh, yes. I recognise you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Andy, this is Anne Rogers, the Comet's columnist extraordinaire. And this is Andy Smith. He and I used to run an ecology magazine. He still does.
So it was your racing bike I saw in the driveway. An ecological knight on his white charger.
Well, more a tilter at windmills, I'm afraid.
Ah, a self-denigrator. You obviously secretly have a very high opinion of yourself. Nigel, I'd love some more of your recycled Romanian tractor oil.
Ah, my Chateau Brizard. I was given a whole case after a freebie round their vault. More for you, Andy.
Oh, please.
Right. Back in a second.
I've read your column. It's got some very interesting things in it.
I have a rule. I don't give a toss whether someone likes or dislikes me as long as they don't bullshit me. You're as likely to have enjoyed my column in the Comet as you are to get a job dropping napalm on babies in the third world. It goes against the grain.
Sorry. You're quite right. I don't agree with your opinions, but speaking as a professional, I do admire your style.
Crisp and snide. Or as a rival once described me, that upmarket bitch. It's mainly a question of making some poor people feel superior to other poor people by making snobbish comments about all poor people. An ancient technique. I admire your work.
Pardon?
In the same way that a butterfly secretly envies the workaday honeybee. Getting on with life's work.
You don't read my stuff?
Don't I? You are arrogant, aren't you, rushing to judgment? Just because I have expensively waxed legs, couture dress and elegantly relaxed hairstyle, you assume I never poke my nose into your appallingly printed little mag. I don't agree with a word of the idealistic rubbish you write, but I do admire the way you write it.
Let's sit down at the table.
Rickmansworth rustic. Coarse-grained oak planks specially designed to scatter the maximum number of splinters in your bum.
It's a lovely day, isn't it?
You do like a quiet life. Can't even be controversial about garden furniture. How many nuclear scandals have you broken?
Oh, a few.
What modesty. All I can say is that at least nuclear weapons are to the point and make things go with a bang, which is more than can be said for most anti-nuclear protesters. Life in a nuclear-free Britain would be like having to read Guardian editorials for all eternity.
Talking about nuclear scandals...
Here comes Nigel bearing plonk.
Oh, look at it. An eyesore. Why do we do it?
Mr. Knight, sir?
Self-made young millionaires, Kite. We all seem to have to buy the most ghastly mansions in Surrey. Stockbroker baronial, Tolworth Tudor. Then we have to pretend to live in them. I can see now why I almost never come here.
Yes, Mr. Knight.
Still no information on Black Jack.
He's still officially on safari, Mr. Knight. He can't be contacted.
He's clever. I'll tell you what he's doing out in his black African veldt. He and Major Saheed are picking off any shares through some Swiss go-between. What are our major shareholders saying?
They assure us, sir, they're not moving. They remain faithful.
I can imagine it. A pensions manager with the wind up his pinstripes is a sight to behold. I've got to speak to Watson man to man. Weigh him up. Kite.
Mr. Julian?
I believe this mansion possesses a swimming pool. Bring out a telephone, take off your clothes.
Oh.
Swim up and down in it.
Oh.
And as I watch your delicious form part the waters, I'll pick up the phone and speak direct to Black Jack. Smoke him out. Then I think I'll come in and join you in the water.
But it's freezing, Mr. Knight, sir. The heater hasn't been on.
I know. We'll both find it stimulating.
Oh, no more drink, please. The meal was delicious. Come on.
Yes. More wine for our nuclear Puritans. There.
What I really want to know, though, and you're both in the middle of it, the Natural Organisation...
23 unsteady stories of tower block.
...is what the hell is happening? Is Black Jack Watson going to swallow you?
Julian Knight has a very strong editorial line on that. No, he's not.
I'm not talking about the official line. That's public posturing. All we on the outside know is that AFCO have issued what is considered an underpriced offer for Natural. The offer's been refused, Julian Knight has spat his defiance, and now, even though the bid is still on, everything's gone deathly quiet.
You have got your nose jammed in the keyhole, haven't you?
Well, what's going on? Is the quiet before the storm?
Oh, we don't know. We humble hacks merely receive our instructions on our computer screen from the 23rd floor. We have to uncover every speck of dirt on Watson and his African friends.
Oh, Major Saheed.
Right. And pump it into the newspaper. Well, there's plenty of dirt on Saheed. Armour of half the world's terrorists, sitting on half the world's mineable uranium, but nothing on Watson.
And nothing on the hijacked radioactive materials on the M4?
No.
What?
Well, it's just a crackpot theory of Andy's.
Hijacked nuclear materials on the M4?
I'm sure that the van involved in the M4 robbery was smuggling uranium or some radioactive material in from Tambia.
I told you, Andy, it's rubbish.
Well, thank you, Nigel. It's always good to have a fellow professional's opinion on a
There's
story.
no need to be so bloody rude, Nigel.
I'm sorry, Andy. Sunshine and the wine have come to my head.
And he grins at me with such manic contrition. What agonies of conscience is he undergoing? Poor Tom Nigel. I look away in embarrassment.
Well, that certainly destroyed an elegant flow of discourse.
Sorry.
Andy was asking about Black Jack, I recall. Why he wants to guzzle up Natural.
Vanity. Black Jack really wants respectability, buy his way into Fleet Street.
No, Andy's right.
Oh, I never thought I'd hear you say
If he wants into Fleet Street, there's any number of rags he could buy up. Black Jack wants Natural.
And presumably it's not the health foods he's after, or the rock groups or cheap airlines.
Electronics?
Well, possibly. None of them are likely, though.
The personal grudge. That perennial standby of popular journalism and soap opera scripts. I suspect they both enjoy a good grudge.
The telephone switched on.
I've just done it, Sir Jack.
I think I've stretched him to breaking. If I were Julian Knight, which thank God I am not, my nerves would be curling back under my fingernails. I couldn't stop myself reaching for the telephone and dialing this number. Just think. Even now, a tiny electronic code is being encapsulated as he dials, is impulsing down the wire from his telephone, under streets, over railway lines he passes, slipping into some vast exchange, then suddenly hurtled into the great bowl of a radar dish. Now, mere impulse, shot forth into the heavens, racing to the sky, ceases to be warm and blue, becomes cold, black. Out there among the crystal stars, hitting the glass satellite, bouncing, pinging down again, this time into a different atmosphere, warm, muggy, drowning, slipping into my radar dish, going through the circuits in my receiver in my Land Rover, thrilling my phone to start ringing.
I'll get it, Sir Jack.
Let it ring. Let him bite his fingernails a while, stamp and fret. Is it not a miracle that one human soul can search out, unerringly locate another human soul in such immensity? The very human soul that is to destroy him. You may fetch me the phone, Gray.
I envy him his children.
You what?
His children.
You don't like children, do you?
Yes.
How peculiar. But you haven't got any.
Lovely day. Sun beating down. How old are you, Anne?
30.
Yeah, there it is, you see. You wouldn't speak like that if you were hanging on to 39. Time passes. Cells weaken and start to fall apart. My hair recedes. I don't have much time left to become a parent. Come on, Nigel, where's that wine?
Worried about getting on? Old age?
No.
Yes, Sir Jack, I see that. What I am suggesting, though, is that this situation, having dragged on for nearly 3 weeks, should be resolved between the two of us face-to-face here in London. Could I suggest a time this coming Thursday? I'm sure you'd agree that Tambia would not be suitable. But there are many people around the world we're going to have to consult during our talks. Electronic communications are so much better here in London. Good. Next Thursday, then. I look forward to seeing you.
God, that a man in my position should so have to crawl.
What did he say, then? Surly and gracious of a man. Doesn't give a thing away. He agreed to Thursday.
Thursday? Here in London?
Yes, but we have work to do. What's happening in Rickmansworth?
On the last report, everything seemed to be going fine.
It just better had.
Can I get out of the pool now?
Get the rolls round here straight away. You can dry out on the motorway. Oh, God, what an ugly mansion.
More wine?
Please.
Please.
I knew Julian Knight once.
What?
When?
When I was at Cambridge, in those glorious halcyon days of the 60s.
I knew it. Another aging hippie.
Well, naturally, I and most of my contemporaries were planning world revolution and the general swinging of all dons from lampposts. Julian Knight, however, kept himself closeted to himself, concocted an aura around himself, stayed in his darkened rooms, wore a dressing gown at all times, and smoked exotic cheroots. Rumour has it, he ran the college dope ring. You both titter.
The whip of the exotic cheroot is still not unknown on the 23rd.
Nor a heavy curtains, long dressing gown.
And pretty young men.
Several of the more creative decisions that have shaped the future of natural are meant to have been reached following large oversniffs of white snow.
Okay.
Right.
But he never loses his grip. You've got to admire him. I've never once seen him let his defences drop.
It's set up.
The meeting.
This Thursday in London, as planned. What's the situation in, what's the name of the place?
Rickmansworth.
Yes.
We don't appear to be losing.
What's that mean? We're meant to be winning. Knight's rooftop penthouse. It's got a swimming pool up there too, hasn't it?
Yes, Sir Jack.
Good. This is going to be an interesting little hunting expedition I'm setting up. Hunting for game in the home counties.
The Porsche 911 Cabriolet does 0 to 60 in 6 seconds flat.
It's white, like my bike.
Then cruises comfortably at 110 miles per hour.
Even though we're thankfully doing 60 in the slow lane.
You really like the safe life, don't you?
Hey, thanks for giving me and my Claude Butler a lift back to London.
My Porsche has immaculate black leather upholstery, more dials than the space shuttle, and a canopy roof that allows me to bathe my hair in the slipstream. Feel it! Another perk for selling one's soul to Julian Knight.
Oh, don't let's start all that again.
You really don't realise what an insult it is to our younger generation, do you, to have to sit around all afternoon listening to two old fogies like you and Nigel pouring on about the 1960s? How fabulous, new, imaginative it all was. It's patronising. You could afford to be idealistic then, sit around on your bum smoking dope and pontificating about the state of the world. Our generation can't afford that. We've got to fight for a job, look smart, well-groomed, obedient. We must do what we...
I'd seen it first, as we left Nigel's. A grey, very undistinguished Cortina wallowing behind us in the potholes. Now it followed 3 cars back on the motorway.
All that I smoked a joint with a girl who smoked a joint with Mick Jagger crap.
Anne?
Yes?
Look, I'm really sorry for all that boring 60s stuff you had to sit through. I apologise. But how about you and me doing something quintessentially 80s?
Meaning?
You putting your foot down and showing me what this Vorsprung Dork Technic-mobile can really do.
Conspicuous petrol consumption, you mean?
And damn the lead pollution.
Hold on, then. Here we go. Feel your hair streaming in the wind?
For a while, the Cortina stayed with us. Then, oil and smoke pouring from its bonnet, it sank away behind. For a moment, we were free, alone, at speed. The sun sank a bit. We seemed to find ourselves at our flat. Everything tastefully minimal, except the rent. Soft greys, olive greens, and a cocktail bar that looked like the Pompidou Centre. We sank into the upholstery, and the cocktail sank into us. A silence fell.
Knight errant on a white bicycle.
Yes?
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Pardon?
That you know what the hell it is you're letting yourself in for? Precisely how deep the waters are you're floundering around in.
I'm not following.
Of course you're following. We all know, everyone at the Comet in Natural International knows that something's going on. Something very big, rather sinister. But what? Now, true to form, you turn up with your hang-dog, self-apologetic air, snooping around, your tongue hanging over your handlebars.
I'm not...
Don't apologise. It's extraordinary. As I sit here, I feel myself both despising and admiring you, your journalistic instincts. But above all, I find myself feeling sorry for you. Protective. For that I despise myself. You almost make me feel...
Yes?
Feel I should forewarn you. I'm meant to be the hard-headed, no-nonsense career woman.
Warn me of what?
You'll get it out of me, won't you? You'll find out. I only know one thing. At the time of the M4 robbery, I know the word went out, a very strong word, that there was to be no hint or mention of radioactivity.
Ah.
There, you see? We 80s yuppies have a few ideals too.
The word went out in the Comet or everywhere?
Everywhere, I presume. It was probably an unofficial D notice. Certainly in the comet, for those who could read the signs, certain subtle steps were taken.
By the government?
I don't know, Andrew. I just know the strength of that word. If I were you, I don't know how you'd do it. Every financial journalist in London's trying, getting nowhere. Try, find out what's actually going on between AFCO and Natural. What Blackjack and Natural are up to. That's where you'll find your real answers. You're attached.
Pardon?
I asked. I meant. Do you have a relationship with anyone?
One long waxed leg modestly slid over the other. Me? Well, Shirley. That's my lady person. She and I have, we've defined it as an open relationship situation.
You mean she sleeps around, you do the washing up?
Got it in one. Shirley had demanded the right to freedom. I had remained monotonously monogamous. Until now. When was the last time I had allowed my hand to run free over such smooth, endless, unhairy legs? I'll have to make a telephone call first.
What?
The strong word had gone down. Find out what's really happening between Natural and AFCO. That's where you'll find real answers. I had precious little chance of penetrating their real world, but I knew someone who might.
Unhealthy Enterprises Incorporated, good evening.
Birmingham?
Yeah?
Andy here. Did I disturb you?
Oh, only somewhat. I was staring out of the window watching the sunset.
Oh, I see.
Contemplating. Wondering about like and not like. What do we achieve in life? What person actually builds a proper monument to his or her memory, I was thinking.
I see. For 1 second I catch a glimpse of her body through the bedroom door.
A farmer, that's who. At the end of his life, see, when he's handing over his lands and his animals to his successor, he can point to it and say, that there's me. That land's me sweat and me industry and me life. Now it's yours. Same with a parent looking at a child.
You sound a bit down.
No challenges in my life. Basically, I'm bored.
Well, let me unbore you.
I can't remember the last time I went to bed with a woman who didn't have hairy legs.
And I can't remember the last time I went to bed with a man with hairy legs.
That night, with Anne asleep on my shoulder, I, intrepid hack, lie awake, haunted by the question that haunts all true journalists. Someone leaks you a story. Which is more significant, the leak or he who hath leaked? Knight and Watson are locked in battle. Someone is smuggling radioactive materials into this country. Presumably someone else tells me of this. I would assume it was Watson doing the smuggling, Knight the leaking, but Knight himself has told his own journalists to shut up about the story. I'm running blind, rushed from behind. But at least, amid the darkness and confusion, amid the thumps and blunders, I have a small sporting chance of working out who doeth what to whom, and surviving. But, by my own decision, I've introduced into this game one person who's utterly blind, utterly ignorant of its rules, even of its existence. As pain starts to fill my gut, as dawn starts to streak the ceiling grey, I can stand it no longer. Quietly I rise, slip from the flat, out across London on my bike. As the early morning sun streams through the trees of the park, I rest my bike against his railings, push open his front door and climb upstairs to his attic. His computers and hardware stand unmoving as megaliths, quietly chanting to themselves. His cat's upset a baked bean tin. A single screen flashes and flashes oblivion. And before it, his blood rich in the dusty sunlight, lies Birmingham. Birmingham, whose extraordinary ordinariness had warmed and cheered my life, lay spilt and wasted. Another mother's son. A piece of paper in his hand, a number scrawled upon it. Then there's a movement.
Hello,
Hello, Smith.
Blue eyes, cruel, piercing as a wolf. A knife in his hand, shepherding me towards a corner. Before I can think, I'm down the stairs, out the door on my bike. But this time they haven't made a mistake. Grinning as he squashes his blonde hair beneath a helmet, he lazily kicks his motorbike to life. Where I can go, so can he. And as this appalling, jagged race starts, what is the question that whips my mind, terrifies me truly? Why, whether he ever intends to catch me, or just chase me for all eternity.
Perfectly, Mr. Julian, sir.
I think we'll spring some nouvelle cuisine on our colonial friend, disorientate him. Buy some of those big coloured Italian plates they've got at the design centre. You know the ones.
Yes, sir.
The food must be arranged in exact geometric pattern over them. That should get him wondering. Serve Chateau Protrou 64 with the meal, exact room temperature.
Of course.
The service kite must be immaculate. Every gesture, every presentation so precise, so inevitable that it seems preordained. The second that oaf enters my room with his hail fellow well-met Masonic handshakes and hints about knighthoods under the counter in the honours list, he must see, his instinct must tell him immediately he can do nothing else but give way to my demands. Ritual kite has its function.
I'll see to the menu, Mr. Knight.
And in half an hour, I want a conference with my clothes designer. Ambiance is all.
I'll phone her.
Only 2 days till Thursday. Know my problem, Kite?
Mr. Julian?
I relish perfection. I enjoy it too much. I am a glutton for perfection.
Get the meat out of the freezer.
Sir Jack?
The carcass of that wildebeest we shot last week. It should just about have defrozen by the time we land at Heathrow.
Sir Jack, what...
We won't take the jet. This is quite a mundane piece of business we're about to transact. We don't want anyone to get the message we might think it anything else. Get a couple of seats on the evening jumbo to London. Book a helicopter to fly us to Mr. Knight's penthouse when we get there.
And the wildebeest?
The company jet, we can use it for him. Don't let the thought of those baggage handlers at Heathrow mauling him out of the belly of a 747. He must be inviolate.
Sir Jack, surely
you don't understand, do you, Gray? The moment of slaughter is vital. The slain must be treated with the greatest of respect or reverence. The carcass is cut apart, filleted only by those who care.
The moment of slaughter.
You never went hunting with tribesmen when you were a bare-kneed boy. This wildebeest was hunted to exhaustion. Its heart beat like thunder. Every muscle and blood vessel arched and strained. Every organ had pumped itself to oblivion. The flesh of such a creature, killed at such a moment, is at its tenderest and most sweet, to be savoured, worthy of a feast of victory. That is why we take it to little pretty boy's penthouse, to light a barbecue whose flames will be seen all over London.
He's after me like a great-jawed greyhound hunting a hare, snapping and sliding every time I twist and turn, all the time looming up and over. A nightmare of streets and intersections unreal, careering cars, smoking lorries, shouting pedestrians. My lungs have got it all away. My calves are jelly and my heart a pea squeaking and rattling between my ribs. And still I force on, across the river, into West London. My beautiful Claude Butler never for a second failing or hesitating. Last, under the benevolent gaze of two scowling traffic cops in their rover, by the traffic lights where the Westway plummets into Marylebone Road, 4 buttressed lanes of flying motorway descending en masse into central London, I can rest a second and think. He idles 50 yards behind me on his motorbike, revving it occasionally. Westway downpours its foul load of fat lorries and squat vans right before me. If between the amber and green, I were to shoot the lights and the crossing traffic and plunge straight up into that wall of descending traffic, face to face, headlight to headlamp, dodging and dancing like a gnat under charging elephants, then... In theory, fine. In practice, great oncoming cliffs blocking out the sun. Never has she responded quicker, more lightly and delightfully. And I'm thin. Between the walls of containers and cargoes, I can dodge and flick. 100, 200, 300 yards. And then it cracks, gives, starts to retreat into the waiting arms of the police. And what do? Crammed into the curb. An eternity of 3 miles against the flow to the next traffic entrance. I look over the side. A leap of 8 feet across a chasm to a factory roof. All I must leave behind me is my white saviour, my beautiful white Claude Butler. I touch her handlebars a final time. Then jump.
Yes?
Shirley.
What are you doing here, Anne?
Well,
this is Monday. You're not meant to be here till Tuesday.
I need help.
Deirdre's asleep in the bedroom.
Then can I just tiptoe in and sit in the kitchen and munch on some cornflakes and try to pull myself together? I swear I won't wake her. I need shelter.
Well...
I'm desperate, Shirley. Please, some cornflakes, some human company. So there I was, halfway up Westway, and I had to make this leap. This man was right behind me on the motorbike, and I...
Me and the sisters have been discussing this. Toys.
Toys?
Yeah. It all goes back to when you men were little boys and you were allowed, by the ignorant patriarchal values that then existed, to have toys. Violent toys. Soldiers, guns, tanks. Kill, kill, kill. So, while you're all having these violent fantasies aged 4, you're laying them down. And when you become adults, then all you men are doomed to take them out and relive them, unwind them out of your psyches on the poor and the defenceless.
So, you think everything I've just been saying is fantasy?
Male fantasy. Now, finish your cornflakes.
Thank God I've still got cornflakes. Good old reliable fast foods, pumping me up with additives and enzymes and tranquilizers till I float out bloated and happy into that great big chemical refinery in the sky. Oh, mother.
What's that noise? Not someone else at the front door.
Hope it isn't someone for me.
It better not be. Deirdre doesn't like being woken up by anyone, let alone men.
I think I might be leaving by the back window.
It has woken Deirdre. She's answering the door.
Oh, God, it is them. They've attacked Deirdre.
Attack Deirdre? Men don't attack Deirdre. Listen to her. She's got a black belt in karate.
Oh.
She's demolishing him. Go on, Deirdre. At a girl. God, I wish the Women's Video Lab was here to film this. A violent man getting his just desserts. We'll be able to show it at our therapy sessions.
I'm afraid I'm leaving by the back window.
Lucky men.
I'll try and be more macho next time.
After a desperate encounter with Shirley's dustbins, I make my getaway. Fling myself upon a number 37 bus, which promptly sits in a traffic jam for 10 minutes. But my pursuer is fully occupied with the delightful Deirdre. Eventually, we lurch and lumber southward. After the swift, fierce beauty of my white bike, this is a rogue and peasant way to travel. Before his death, Birmingham had scrawled on a scrap of paper a number, a code. I need access to a computer terminal, one I can plug anonymously into a phone line and get to work with.
Here we are. Display, keyboard, disk drive, all the other computer knobs and twiddles we electronic illiterates know nothing about.
Great.
Some fly-by-night computer firm gave it all free to me about 18 months ago. I was going to give them a puff in my column, only they went bust first.
So here in your back room it gathers dust.
Nothing ages faster than yesterday's market leader. Looks positively ancient now. Bye.
You going?
My column calls. I have to interview the ageing but perfectly formed Sandra Durbin.
Oh, that film actress, you mean? Bit temperamental, isn't she?
Not with me. If she starts getting out of line, I'll just tell her I'm going to write an entire column listing her varicose veins one by one. 3 operations she's had, and her legs still look like willow pattern china.
The popular image of the computer hacker is of one man heroically bashing away at his ivories, single-handedly breaking the code and gaining access to a system. It isn't really like that. Like all the best things, essentially it's a group effort. In his lonely way, a hacker is gregarious. He and other like-minded Robin Hoods and Jolly Rogers have common roosts, unofficial software pools, secret areas annexed within the vast programs of company computers where they might list and swap information, gaggle, gossip and talk shop. An electronic notice board.
Bravo, the rat suggests you can get into CompuLine on dial-up at 300-300 or on 251-6180. No, I don't have passwords. Spit Infinity of Croydon suggests you get into intercompany contrast database of 70,000 companies via their 1200/75 view data front-end processor on 263-8784. Type FUD when asked for your company code.
The Infinitorium, Septon Mallet, states that British Telecom's recent record profits and continuing appalling service have prompted the circulation of this information. It comprises a method of making telephone calls free of charge.
Yes, friends, beneath our city streets, along country telegraph poles, somewhere in the suburbs, after all respectable people have stopped watching Terry Wogan and gone to bed, birds of an electronic feather lurk together. I passed from electronic notice board to electronic notice board. Cornish Jake, Liverpool Bite, Grimsby Gremlins, everywhere searching for a hint of Birmingham drizzle, a place he might have concealed his findings.
Here he is. Oh. Andrew Smith. Age 39. His photograph. Andrew Smith. Included in file physical description, list of addresses and known habitations. MOCV, etc., etc. Everything down to the last time he wore nappies. And here is the other one. Photograph. Nigel Thompson. Another journalist. Journalists are ponces. Oh, there's him Rickmansworth, according to his file. 1 wife, 2 children. Rickmansworth. That's them. That's our couple.
All through the day I searched through electronic cellars and attics, inched through crevices and down chimneys, until at last I uncover a hint, a reference to Midland's downpour. Anyone wishing to inquire further, states the screen, should insert appropriate code. I type it in. Then suddenly, out in front of me, tumbles my complete story. My immense, frightening story. I can understand why they killed Birmingham. Why they want to kill me. I am sitting on top of God.
A checklist listing implements required. Funny paper it's written on. It's a printout from a computer. I reckon the outfit that's hiring us is very well off, well organised. A burial implement? Oh, they mean a spade. A spade for digging. And why can't they call it a bloody spade, Stanley? And another thing. If they're that good, why can't they pull decent paper from their computer printouts? I mean, look at this stuff. Cheap and nasty. I wouldn't use it for Stanley. All computers print out on paper like this. Rogers, just because someone is employing you, it doesn't mean you can't sit in judgment on them. Your trouble is you put far too much trust in those put an authority over you. I mean, look at that trouble in the Sudan. Hired by a Yorkshireman with a fly whisk. Go out there, lads, get stuck in, kill a few blacks, and I'll see you're not short of a bob or two. OU says he's a Yorkshireman. A Yorkshireman with a fly whisk. He must be honest. Blunt, rude even, but Yorkshiremen are always honest. So, we go out there. Find that blooming Yorkshireman mowing down blacks, whites, you, me, anything that moves. Exchanged his fly whisk for a submachine gun. He's a raving psychotic.
Stanley.
So I am warning you, Rogers. This lot might have super efficient computer printout lists and what have you, but anyone who calls a spade a burial implement qualifies in my book for the higher realms of Wallydom, rank Wallydom, and should be watched accordingly.
Birmingham had done his final job beautifully. Delved right into the heart of AFCO's dark empire. Uranium, politics. Nothing simpler. Nothing nastier. Colonel Saeed possesses Tambia. Tambia possesses half the Western world's uranium reserves. Black Jack Watson wants a monopoly on those reserves, while Colonel Saeed wants his very own nuclear bomb to further the cause of Muslim fundamentalism. The Middle East and North African cocktail would suddenly go nuclear. So would every terrorist suitcase. If Black Jack wants his uranium monopoly, he can take some of it to England, get it processed using whatever means are necessary, and return it to Colonel Saeed. This whole process is detailed in internal AFCO memos and directives, split open by Birmingham. The organisation of the robbery, to hide the fact it was uranium, the metal's secret addition to an official enrichment process, its secret subtraction once that process had been completed, its imminent export as ballast, all programmed, all detailed, all passing out of my word processor. Before I start to write my article, the greatest scoop I've ever had, I must check one final detail.
Anne.
Home?
We've got to go.
What?
Vamoose, we'll use your Porsche.
But don't you want to hear about Sandra Durbin? The truth?
Oh,
She hasn't got varicose veins. She's got her...
Come on. My scoop has come.
Oh, I do like London stocks these days. Filled with bright young people in video and PR and electronic publishing. Look at it. Bursting with venture capital. Transformed.
Yeah, the traffic's as bad as ever it was, though. Come on. We've got to be at Tilbury for a 3 o'clock
I'm
sailing.
afraid that even Porsches are not designed to overcome London traffic.
Oh, Claude Butler racing bikes are, though. Cut through this lot like Murdoch through print workers.
Andy?
Yeah?
From what you were able to find out through AFCO's internal documents, why is Black Jack so keen on buying out Julian Knight?
Propaganda, mainly. I wasn't able to spend too much time on that side of things. But it looks from his memos that Watson mainly wants Natural as a way into Fleet Street. So if things get sticky in the future over his relationship with Saeed, at least he'll have a few independent commentators on his side. Look, that lorry's moving. Get in behind it.
Right. But you're sure that all this AFCO stuff you found is genuine?
What do you mean?
Well, in the old days, before all this electronic stuff, it was people you could go and check out. They'd have a story. You'd at least be able to form an impression of whether they were telling you the truth. But nowadays... Well, you broke into that computer. Who says someone else couldn't have before you? To plant the information for you to find. You're going to be making an awful lot of accusations in your article.
There's one way of checking, Anne. That's why we're going to Tilbury. You, me, and my Geiger counter.
In the end, by 5 minutes, the traffic beat us. We roared through the huge gates, sped through the nearly empty docks, vast acres of grey, wind-swept concrete, to the berth where the ship should have been. She was 50 yards from the dockside, the tugs churning the water white as she moved unerring for the Thames and the wide ocean beyond. AFCO's flag hung cheekily over her stern. And over the side, in a group of 3 or 4, lounged the young man I'd last seen knife drawn in Birmingham's attic. Beside him stood the telephone engineer I'd seen tapping my phone. Another one still bore Deirdre's scars and bruises. And they all saw me and waved, jeering.
They know you.
All safely bound for Tambia. Missed them by 5 minutes.
I'm not quite sure.
Doesn't matter, though. Now, where do you think the cargo was likely to have been on the dockside before they winched it aboard?
By this crane, I suppose.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? That's for why. This Geiger counter is the proof of my article. Listen to it. Almost off the end of the dial. Weapons-grade uranium rested here not more than an hour ago.
Is it?
Final draft, yeah.
Sir Jack Watson must therefore answer the question. If the refined uranium was not meant for the bombs of Colonel Sahid, who precisely was it meant for? For too long, this maverick backwoodsman, consorting with unsavoury dictators in the Third World, exploiting his labour mercilessly, has been able to ride roughshod over civilised, decent values. Now, however, it appears he has gone too far. An explanation is required.
Like it?
An explanation is required, stirring stuff. You've used all their memo stuff cleverly, too.
I'll be sending complete copies of the internal AFCO documentation with every copy of the article.
Sending? Copy? Aren't you printing it in Green Times?
Green Times? This story's far too important for Green Times. Besides, it's a month, if ever, before the next edition. I'm sending copies to journalists on The Times, The Guardian, Financial Times, New Scientist, and New Statesman. Also 3 or 4 politicians.
But you'll lose your scoop.
Nuclear weapons are a bit too important for that.
I don't know.
The story's got to hit the streets immediately. I'm sure your Julian Knight will be more than a little interested in it. And anyhow, I expect my name will get mentioned occasionally, here and there.
Andy, you're made. This is your great chance. Hello? Oh, Nigel. Yes, he is. Hang on. It's Nigel Thompson phoning from Rickmansworth. Sounds like he's read your story already.
Thanks. Nigel? Yes? Yes? Oh, I see. I'll be with you right away.
What's happening?
I've got to go. The stamp machine's knocking out copies. Can you put one in each envelope? I've addressed them, plus the documentation, and drop them in at a post office. Send them registered.
I'll do better. Take them round, deliver each one by hand.
This should be the happiest day of my life. Scoop Smith. I sit on the Baker Street to Rickmansworth train, all stainless steel and neon, as we jog through the early evening, and I feel melancholy. The success has come Anne. And what about Shirley? Opposite me sit a family. Mum, Dad, 3 children, home from shopping. Each alone, yet each tied to all the others with a comfortable bond of tetchy familiarity. The family. What I've missed and always wanted someday with Shirley. What I now probably will never have. Forever to remain solitary. It's the slate grey of dusk as I arrive at Nigel's. No lights. I know his family's away, but at least with him, the front door's open. I go in, my eyes accustoming to the darkness. Nothing. A deserted house. I pass out through the French windows into the back garden, and then, by the wooden table where we'd sat a week ago and made so merry beneath the blazing sun, I discovered a figure, very still.
Nigel?
No response. I hurry over, but I already know what I shall find in the lonely, friendless garden.
Nigel?
Slaughtered. Another mother's son, coldly exited from this life without grace or ritual.
Good evening.
Evening.
I struggle, more for form's sake than through any deep conviction I might escape.
Don't struggle. Yeah, stop it. You know we know you won't escape, so stop it.
Slightly balding, wire-framed spectacles awry, I stand before them, drawn up to my full 5'9".
What do you want?
We'll put him in the potting shed.
I'm in charge here.
Yeah, we'll put him in the potting shed. After we've taken out the burial implement.
Burial implement?
The spade. Clever place to conceal a burial implement, a potting shed.
I'd better phone Mr. Knight.
Mr. Knight?
You, Wally, you overweight, underbrained Wally. Why'd you mention that? Look, stick him in the potting shed and get the spade. Graves must be dug. Tomorrow is Thursday.
Tomorrow's Thursday, whatever that means. I spend a cold, cramped night among Nigel's neatly stacked flower pots and rakes and sieves and tomato cases. All the while, outside, I hear my two captors curse and heave as they dig Nigel's grave, where he might have most wanted it, in the midst of his immaculate vegetable garden. Recycle.
You ever eaten asparagus?
What?
Asparagus. Have you ever eaten it? We are digging up an asparagus bed. It's beneath our very feet.
I thought it was a vegetable patch.
It is a vegetable patch, but this is the asparagus bed part of it. Oh.
I've got mud on my boots.
Well, come on. Let's get it finished. Let's get him buried.
In the first glimmer of Rickmansworth dawn, they buried Nigel. Hastily covered his body, went indoors for coffee and a hearty breakfast. I was brought forth from my potting shed, tied roughly, thrown into the back of their van and covered in musty sacking. We travelled lurching through rush hour traffic, my skin rubbed raw against bare metal. At last, we stopped. I was hoisted up, frog-marched across the concrete floor of an underground car park, bundled into a waiting lift.
Which floor is it? What? Which floor do we want in the lift?
You set this deal up.
I forgot. Lost the printout with our instructions in.
Lucky I kept a copy.
It's the 23rd. Pardon? The 23rd floor. If we're going to see Julian Knight. You're not meant to know that. I guessed.
He's intelligent, this one.
He's trouble.
Be a pity when we got to top him. Getting quite attached to his spectacles and bald patch. Here we are, 23rd floor.
I was thrown into a waiting room. It had no bars on the windows, had no windows. I'd been consigned to a broom closet. After a time, I was hauled out, taken to a washroom. My hair combed, my clothes brushed down. Apparently, Julian Knight liked his visitors neat and tidy.
So, this is how the common airline passenger travels.
Well, makes a change from the company jet, eh, Sir Jack?
But it has no dignity, cleanness. We were herded aboard like pigs in a sty, crammed in these seats, assaulted from all sides with this wretched dance room music. And the food,
Sir Jack?
tasted, sticks in my throat. The meat tastes like plastic vomited out of an oil refinery, knitted together in indigestible lumps.
It isn't very good. What happened, Sir Jack?
This damned plastic knife has broken off in my hand. Spurting gravy all over my suit. How much longer are we going to be trapped in this flying kettle truck?
5 hours, Sir Jack, until we land at Heathrow.
Well, I want to know.
The first thing I want to know when we land at Heathrow is what company produced this shoddy knife?
What company?
I'll buy it. As soon as we land, make sure it starts producing decent plastic knives.
Oh.
What, Gray? What is it?
I think you already own the company, Sir Jack.
The swimming pool, the champagne and the caviar are ordered their exact temperature, Kite.
Exact, Mr. Julian. I checked. Elbow, cheek and finger.
The food and hors d'oeuvres have all been laid out.
Like a Buckingham Palace flower bed.
And my favourite orchids are scenting every room.
As you desired.
After I have dealt with Sir Jack Watson, shown him the evidence I have uncovered about his activities, after he has retired in his helicopter, baffled, defeated, I shall remove my dressing gown, and you and I shall wash away our troubles splashing in the swimming pool.
I look forward to that.
Oh, Kite. Hook-nosed, body lean and knowing as a gypsy dog. That wonderful, evasive dishonesty about your eyes. I shall eat you for supper. I'm going to win this, Kite. By this evening, I shall make a great empire. Do you understand that? Of course you do.
Smith's arrived.
Smith?
That journalist.
What time did I pencil in for seeing him?
1 o'clock. 2 hours before Watson touches down.
Oh, I'm feeling so good, Kite. Like Eden with the world open to me and the serpent just slithering down through the branches. There is an infinity of possibilities opening before me. Where's the cocaine?
Colombian or Peruvian, Mr. Julian?
Both. Blend them, mince them up scrupulously so that they flow into my lungs like angel dust. I'm winning, Kite. Today, everything comes together.
Get him in here. Get that runtish little journalist Smith in here immediately.
Come here. Don't worry about his hair now. It's not right. Stand still. It's adequate. His bald patch is covered. Thank you. And don't answer him back in there, right? He's Mr. Knight and you're respectful, or bones start to crush. Eric, our friend here has a sharp and wary look to his eye. He knows his 2 times table. Come in! Mr. Knight, sir, we brought you Smith, the journalist.
Good. Bring him in.
Come on, you.
You haven't changed much, Andrew, since Cambridge. Your shoulders are slightly drooped, a mistrustful look in your eye, but at least you've still got your hair. You two may leave us.
Mr. Knight. Mr. Knight, sir.
Welcome to the headquarters of Natural International. Its nerve center. My penthouse.
What do you want with me?
I would like to chat. Yes, talk about the old days. Our old days together at Cambridge. Remember?
I would like to know what I'm doing here.
I remember you were the brilliant one. A scholarship lad from a state school, and you were arrogant, as lower-class scholars could afford to be in those days. And you were going to take over the whole world, remember? The 1960s, revolution. Doesn't look quite so rosy these days, does it? Public schools, flogging, the cultivation of the individual and his needs have something to be said for them.
I need something to eat, if you don't mind. I haven't eaten for over 24 hours.
It's a mistake bringing you up here. I should have had you killed straight off. But today I can afford mistakes. Afford to indulge myself.
Glass of water, perhaps?
Shut up! Now, let's remember. A hot summer's day at Cambridge. Probably just before we finally came down. Blinding sunlight. And I remember looking out of my darkened window, out onto the quadrangle, the grass lawn, and seeing it covered with you and your supporters, your filth, your unshaved, uncleaned hangdog, slovenliness, younging your demands, like garbage tipped from a bin, demanding this or that with raised fists and trite slogans. Did you ever look at yourselves?
We've all grown up since then.
Oh, really? I've always thought ecology and infantile yearnings for total union with the maternal breast are one and the same. We live in the real world, Smith, where eggs and skulls get broken.
What do you want from me?
While you marched down your sunlit highways of self-righteousness and ego exhibition, I trod a different path. Lurked in shadow, hid in alleyway, learned the fierce joy of the fist in the night, the blow from behind, tasted fear, the darker fruits. From running the college drug ring, I took over the university scene. Well, at that stage, there wasn't really much to take over. A short, wheezy man in a grey suit sitting in the Wimpy bar once a week and furtively handing out his samples from a suitcase. I followed him back to London to an unpretty little dark alleyway in Soho where he was due to meet an unsavoury Maltese gentleman. I hit him, somewhat terminally, and met the Maltese gentleman myself, with a proposition. Can you imagine it? A product of one of our finest public schools, clad in studs and black leather, facing a Maltese with a severe sweat problem and too many gold teeth. He was soon won over to my way of thinking, became my partner for a time. What degree did you get at Cambridge, Smith?
I didn't. I thought other things were more important.
Oh, and you were such a clever little scholarship boy, too. Double first me in law and business. Can you imagine that combination? Legal expertise, a head for figures and psychotic violence. Hitting the sleepy peace and love London drug scene of the late 60s. In 6 months, my foot was on its neck. In another 6 months, I controlled the country. Just in time to cash in on all your political fallouts. No revolution today, man, so let's light up a joint. Turn on, tune in, drop out. Oh, the money came pouring in, believe me. But what to do with it all? Go legitimate. Yeah, I diversified into rock, health foods, radical magazines, all the fads and fantasies of your febrile, gutless generation. The only revolution was in my turnover. But what to do with it all as it came pouring in? I bought newspapers, airlines, electronics. The stock exchange is the most violent place. Takeovers, leveraged buyouts, porcupine provisions, deguts, and freeze-outs, and bootstrap ripping. It feeds me with the violence I love. You get in there, stand up, beat your chest, and take on all comers. Yeah. Oh, honest, it's true. That's all it is. And finally along came heroin, with its handmaiden unemployment. Never has so much been made by so few for so little. And Black Jack, the primeval Black Jack Watson, hoves over the horizon, lumbers forth from darkest Africa trying to take over my company. The man is 50 years behind the times. His organization is prehistoric. Out there in Tambia, he's read in last year's Financial Times that takeovers are all the rage. Dinosaur devoureth dinosaur, and he makes a gulp for natural. Which is exactly what I want. You haven't asked me why I wanted his takeover bid. I said you haven't asked me.
Why did you want his takeover bid?
Oh, show a little more enthusiasm, Smith. Keenness. You're an investigative journalist, remember. I wanted this bid because once two great companies are locked into a takeover battle, then he who would take over becomes equally as vulnerable to take over himself. He is exposed, open to infiltration. The hunter becomes the hunted. For all his backwardness, AFCO has great uses, well-developed, legitimate trade links with corrupt third-world countries. Colonel Saheed, Tambia, where the heroin poppy is grown in abundance. A perfect cover for smuggling. He thought he was taking us over. Instead, we were subverting his organization, using his men here and in Africa. That hijacked security van wasn't carrying gold. It wasn't carrying uranium. It was carrying heroin.
But it was crawling with radioactivity.
Creative disinformation. The van was sprinkled with a little harmless radium with a half-life of 30 minutes, just enough time for you to pick it up on your Geiger counter. The same at the docks. I watched you from a distance ever since we came down from Cambridge, wondering how I might one day abuse you. You wrote a most convincing article. Bring it in, Anne!
Here it is, Julian.
Anne? I believe you two already know each other.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, Andy. You did rather open yourself to being used, though.
Come and sit down by me.
Thank you, Julian.
A sniff of cocaine?
Thank you, but it interferes with my sinuses.
Excuse me just a moment.
I suppose my most convincing article never got posted.
On the contrary, it got posted as soon as you left the Rickmansworth.
I ensured every editor in Fleet Street, Wapping, and all points east got a hand-delivered copy.
Oh, I don't suppose they'll take any notice of it.
Andy, you underestimate the reputation you have as a journalist in nuclear matters.
It's not that great.
Besides, the discovery of your dead body this evening will leave everyone with no option but to print your story. Black Jack might be able to go round murdering anyone he pleases in Africa, but in England, people draw the line, even with journalists. The climate is hardly favourable to foreign companies taking over English ones. Black Jack is finished. AFCO's value on the stock exchange will collapse. In 48 hours, I will be able to step in and pick up its remains for a pittance. And your journalistic reputation will be assured posthumously.
On an untrue story.
No one, unfortunately, can have everything.
You haven't done badly.
I know.
She's almost flawless. The wildebeest, not a hair on her body out of place. Almost as though she lay down, fell asleep, and never woke up. Thank God we brought her in the company's jet and didn't stick her in that awful Jumbo's cargo hold.
The helicopter's ready.
She's lashed securely to the sled?
Yes.
Then, Gray, we are ready. Two rough, unshaven African backwoodsmen about to storm the citadels of British business. Come on, let's go.
You got it? You understand what we've got to do?
But, Stanley, it's not written down on the computer printout.
I know, that's the whole point. But what was the final instruction on a printout? Wait until a person approaches you, identifies themselves by a certain code, and then do precisely what they tell you.
Yeah.
That person has approached us, yes or no?
Yeah.
So, we must do what we're told.
But here, in his penthouse, killing him in front of 6 or 7 witnesses.
Look, do everything I do, right? Except think. The slightest thought from you now might prove fatal to us both. The helicopter. Brace yourself. Mr. Knight, sir, the helicopter is approaching.
Excellent. Perhaps you two would like to accompany the lady, Mr. Smith, and myself out into the roof to welcome our distinguished visitor.
Of course, Mr. Knight, sir. Come on, Rogers. Oh, yeah, right.
The two large men slid open the plate glass doors that opened onto the swimming pool and helipad. Julian passed through, followed by me and Anne. He stopped, dressing gown flapping in the propeller wash, to relish the helicopter's final approach. But the two men didn't. Each slipped an arm under his, lifted him clean, his feet bicycling in empty air, and carried him swift and gobbling, protesting and heaving, to the swimming pool, in a twinkling, upending him, plunging his head and chest deep in the water.
Oh! Swimmers! Oh! That's what you do with it, slippers. Just keep head under water.
The helicopter, meanwhile, swoops in, lands, its sleds mysteriously draped with a wildebeest.
Without even a glance at his now feebly kicking opponent, Black Jack, trim, determined, bolts down from the helicopter and strides matter-of-factly into the penthouse. Phew. So this is how big business operates. I'd often wondered. Anne drops him a feudal half-curtsy. A young, upwardly mobile, downwardly genuflecting professional. Kite starts to mop the gravy stain off his trousers.
Shut those damn doors, will you? England, as usual, is freezing.
You had a good flight, Sir Jack?
Oh, my God, look at this place. Black leather and cheap chintz. I've seen Zanzibar brothels decorated with better taste.
I'll get the interior designers in immediately.
Would you like your usual scotch, Sir Jackson?
Thank you, my good and faithful Kite. I can't stay too long here, though. Who's this?
Oh, our journalist, Andrew Smith.
I've been following your story, young man. You've done a very good job.
Whose job?
Sit down, Andy.
That article I wrote. I suppose it never did get posted.
Quite right, Andrew.
Your drink, Sir Jack.
Thank you. Leave us, Kite, if you please.
Yes, of course, Sir Jack. It's very nice to see you again, sir.
Yes, Mr. Smith. Your story was essentially true. We have been smuggling uranium into this country for a number of years, refining it for the use of Colonel Sahid. Only one detail was wrong.
Yes?
The government has been fully aware of what we have been doing from the start.
What?
Colonel Sahid occupies a strategic position in North Africa. He also sits on top of half the world's uranium. It is vital he remains Britain's friend, however quiet we have to keep about that friendship. A private, unofficial deal suited everyone.
Our government is supplying Colonel Sahid with nuclear weapons?
I didn't say that. I said he has been supplied with weapons-grade plutonium. Before it goes bang, however, it requires extremely sophisticated wiring, timing, and fusing mechanisms. Colonel Sahid is quite happy just padding down into his vaults and gawping through his plate glass at all that raw plutonium. Makes him feel like a real world leader.
But if... Excuse me, Sir Jack, that matter...
He's dead.
Floating face down in a swimming pool, unmarked as per instructions.
Drowned. Due to an unfortunate cocaine oversniff situation.
Newspaper boss in pool, drowning, tragedy.
That is what the pathologist will find.
With a good and faithful Kite grieving over his dead master. Oh, tidy up, Standy. We're leaving in 5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Am I included in that we?
Of course. I have most definite plans for you.
What plans?
Oh, you'll find out.
Sir Jack, I should be going. I'm not coming with you on the helicopter. I should get as far away from here as quickly as possible.
I agree. We'll meet when things are more normal.
Goodbye, Andy.
Not even sorry?
Afraid not. I'll see myself out.
Scotch before we go.
With all this going for AFCO, why do you need Julian Knight's natural at all?
Oh, sound commercial reasons, of course. We live in uncertain times, Mr. Smith. There's no return in investing in industry or raw materials. They're too depressed. You can play the money market and the stock exchange with bits of paper, and after they crash, what are you left holding? More bits of paper. What commodity has consistently increased in value over the last 30 years, whatever the market conditions?
Heroin.
I'm good friends with Colonel Sahid. Large crops of opium poppy are grown in his country, while therefore potentially controlling large percentage of the production side. I have no retail outlets.
And natural does.
It was rational to bring our two companies together. Julian Knight did not wish to play ball.
So you murdered him.
Oh, personal consideration should never hinder commercial ones. He was a most vain man. His organization easily infiltrated. And others. When he started to conjure up grandiose plans to discredit me, I allowed him full rope. I ensured that any hard men he hired worked for me.
mercenaries I employ in Africa to keep friendly governments in place who don't mind a bit of extra work rather on leaving England. He dreamed his dreams, I pulled the strings. We shall be going. Bring it in now.
You want me to bring it in, Sir Jack?
Yes. I've arranged a little reunion for you, Mr. Smith.
My bike?
All oiled and polished and repaired.
Oh, my bike.
Time we were leaving for East Anglia.
I'll tell the pilots.
They'd restored my bike beautifully, cared for it, tended it, resurrected it in pristine white, so it purred and clicked contentedly beside me as I wheeled it out to the helipad. Sometimes the line between sanity and insanity is so thin it scarcely exists. They strapped her on a sled. I clambered aboard. In the setting sun, a helicopter rose grotesque into the London skies. A Claude Butler bicycle hanging from one sled, a slain wildebeest from the other. And as the office tower's roof fell away beneath us, spiralling slowly, I watched Julian Knight's body floating, turning gently in the swimming pool. We turned to the north and east. East Anglia. London shrank to a chessboard beneath us as we rose and rose. And then, turning our backs upon the evening sun, we beat slowly, steadily into the north and east, across Bedfordshire, Cambridgeshire. The fens flat beneath us. Then, east into Norfolk, the North Sea ahead of us. Perhaps this was my fate. My Claude Butler and me to be dropped from 6,000 feet into an anonymous but ecological grave amid the gas rigs and terminals. But no. Well before the coast we started to drop. Amid the yellowing oceans of corn, it stood out. The green of the encroaching grass, the spirals and spokes of tar macadam of a disused airfield. We came into land in the central apron, amid the thistles and willow herb, the grass nibbled low by the sheep and rabbits. To one side a pile of logs and timber. Disembarked. The sky is like a huge flaming temple over us. Its girders and beams and timbers smouldering blood red as the sun dies in the west.
Nice spot here, don't you think?
What's going to happen, Mr. Watson?
Where do you want your camp bed and tent, Sir Jack?
Over there. Hang my shaving mirror on the pole.
Right.
And you and Rogers can sleep on the grass here, where we built a fire. Mr. Smith will be sleeping in between you. Anderson the pilot can't sleep in the cockpit as he has in the berth so often.
Right.
Ah, look at that sunset, Mr. Smith. Warm your blood, eh? See the land about here. After United States Air Force, I am the greatest landowner in East Anglia. I trust a mutual assurance fund, of course.
But what are we doing here, Mr. Watson?
You can run for 20 miles in any direction and still be on my land, Mr. Smith. My title, incidentally, is Sir Jack. A knight of this ancient, decadent realm. In answer to your question, we are about to partake in a barbecue.
A barbecue?
Aren't you hungry? Why do you think I brought the wildebeest? Killed it myself, Mr. Smith, on the bed. Not a week gone by. Shot it from another of my helicopters with this
high-velocity rifle.
Oh, really?
I hope you like meat, Mr. Smith. Red meat. Meat so red it's almost raw.
Well, I've only ever been a theoretical vegetarian.
It was an immense fire, a funeral pyre for the poor wildebeest, the sparks shooting hundreds of feet up into the encroaching darkness, a darkness that finally devoured us totally. And from the fire's crackling bowels was hauled the carcass of the wildebeest, hacked apart, passed round the small circle of communicants.
Taste it. Run your lips over it. So tender it almost melts in your mouth. Oh, yeah. Here's what I brought to England, Mr. Smith. Imported. A tiny sliver of the heart of the Dark Continent. Savagery. Look at this great blackness about our fire. The silence and vastness of the land. Africa. To lie out upon the African veldt at night. And all about you hear the lions roaring and know that all that separates you from the might of their claws and great gaping mouths is a frail fire, whose feeble light only flickers a few feet. And your own cunning and intelligence with your gun clutched in your hand. That is character building, full of courage. It forges strength, superiority.
More meat, Sir Jack.
Please, please. My love, Africa, Mr. Smith. Its immensity, its savagery, its taste of raw power. Look at England, eh? The fact of this land. Mr. Julian Knight. Gone to seed and run to hell on nightmares of drugs and indisciplines. Nightgown, Mr. Smith. A nation of nightgown wearers and cocaine sniffers. Decadent. Worthy only of overthrow and exploitation. I am a predator, Mr. Smith. One of nature's natural aristocrats.
I recognized the style. It was one that of necessity over the last few days I'd become all too familiar with. The rant of the corporate chief, the bark of millionaire monomania.
Strange as it might seem, I, the chief executive of AFCO, a company owning the largest open-cast coal, bauxite, copper and uranium mines in the world, I too am a bit of an ecologist in my own individual way. I love the unpolluted wilderness, the unfettered freedom of wild animals.
You like shooting them?
Quite right. Don't you feel as you kill another creature that perhaps a part of its soul passes into yours? Obviously not. But we shall see, you and me. Since you have come to my notice, Mr. Smith, I must admit to having grown to admire you. Besides, you own a Claude Butler. Always a sign of natural good taste. One myself, nearly 40 years ago, the Rolls Royce of bicycles. Must have covered most of East Africa on it. Just me, a boy. My bicycle. Those great rolling skies. You know what my favorite sport is?
Hunting?
Shooting. But a special sort. Hunting my game from helicopters. Ha! The hawk in me, you see. And normally, of course, for appearance sake, I have hunted animals, but once or twice it has been my privilege, and I do not use that word cheaply. No man feels greater honor for the hunted than the hunter. It has been my privilege to hunt men, black men. They are naturally brave, courageous beings, but they have no intelligence.
They have as much intelligence as you or me.
Ever the quickthought. You, Andrew Smith, are a white man. You are brave and courageous like them, however much you wish to denigrate those qualities in yourself. And you are intelligent, very intelligent, a Cambridge man. Dawn is a natural time for hunting. Tomorrow morning you will mount your Claude Butler, and I shall hunt you across this airfield of mine. I swear that if you reach the perimeter fence, you shall be a free man, the journalistic hunter. And I become the hunted.
You're mad.
I suggest you get a sound night's sleep.
I didn't get a very good night's sleep, actually. Laid out on this East Anglian veldt between two watchful guards, I tended to fret. Ran my fingers over the familiar nuts, bolts and tubing of my steel steed, checking every last part. About 3 a.m, the last embers died from our fire. The clouds cleared from the heavens, leaving me alone with the stars. Under the merciless stare of eternity, I wonder what of worth I've created in my brief life. Dribs and drabs here and there, but to that central girder and pitch of all creation, the making of a child, new life, I've contributed nothing, remained sterile, barren. Shirley and me have taken endlessly for our own wants, but for another's, from nothing, I pass forth into nothingness.
Here comes the sun.
The sun was winking evilly over the horizon, like a hangman measuring his victim through the spy hole.
Right, here's your bike, son. Now remember, don't lose your pride. Give this gentleman here good sport. A run for his money. He might be a bit potty. A right barker, in fact, but that's no cause for you not giving your best. Sticking to your standards. Keep your bottle, son. And good luck.
Thank you.
I stood by my bike. My knees knocked. To the north of the airfield there stood scrubland and woods. Blackjack Watson would be strapped to the starboard side of the helicopter. I'd noticed his left eye was stronger than his right. The hunter and the hunted.
Anderson, Sir Jack, keep the helicopter up high to start with. I want to see if he starts to show any pattern in his movements. He won't come down for the kill till later. His knees are knocking. Oh, don't be fooled. They'll be like steel pistons when he needs them. Self-preservation tempers all our metals. He's looking to the south a lot. That probably means he's going north.
Here comes where I ride off into the sunrise.
He's ready.
Come on, Mr. Watson, I'm waiting.
Start the helicopter.
Into the helicopter, you other two.
In the end, it's best to signal your own firing squad. At least you know when the bang's going to come.
Good luck, Mr. Smith.
Hi-yo, Silver, away! Have I ever breathed clearer? Has life ever tasted fresher? Every moment savoured and loved.
Keep it up! Keep it up! Let's see what he's trying to do first. The guy too soon will be away, and we have lost him.
30 miles an hour, and she's unreeling smooth as cream beneath me. He stays well above me. I gamble with my life. Risk he won't shoot from the height. Guess that he wants longer to play with his game. Turn to the left across his sights. Turn to the south away from the wood, suggesting a logical pattern to his intelligence. I ride the frail line and guess. Death beneath and all about me.
Look at him! Right across the sight! He's getting towards the edge of the perimeter! In a second, up and over him! Come down, facing him to drive him back! Across and give him a couple of shots! Just to make him think I'm fool!
He missed. I drew him. Now he's rising over me. Blind for a second. Turn, and back along the runway.
Where's he gone? Where's he gone? He doubled back along the runway. Don't worry. He has a mile to cover before he reaches the perimeter. We have a turbine engine underway to burn his steel cylinder. He has only his heart, his lungs, and his full legs.
It starts to get to you. For half an hour we play, flogging up and down the main east-west strip, sometimes slipping to the south, always turning to the left, risking his final shot will not yet be made, always behaving as though the north in its scrub and wood, as though his blind side did not exist. My legs are rubber, each separate heartthump a crack of doom, my lungs snatch and claw at nothing. I'm going to go. It's got to be soon.
Brave! Very brave! Getting close to the western perimeter, Sir Jack! Up and over to face him then! Right! Where is he? He's gone! There he is! Heading north to the wood! He went on our blind side! Let's get after him then! Quick!
Fooled us. I knew he would. Oh, the beauty of the creature. Faster! He's heading straight to the wood. Oh, is there anything more beautiful in all creation than the chase? Why must it end?
Stretching forever in front of me, the wood slipping further and further away. Keep going, keep going. Scrub starts to scud past us, the tarmac breaking upwards and giving way to grass. On! On! They're after me. 200 yards, the ground coarsened and loosened. Suddenly, before me, a ditch. I rear the handlebars. Do I fly? 100 yards. Keep on, on. Where's the helicopter? Where? Hovers 50 yards before me, just above the perimeter fence, the woods of freedom stretching beyond. It's squat, grinning almost in triumph. The machine has beaten man. Again. Black Jack nods his head in salute, leisurely taking aim. I watch his finger tight on the trigger. I don't care. I'm on the ground, writhing. I'm on the ground, writhing. I'm writhing. I'm not hurt. There are no bullet holes in me. I look up. A ball of fire, the helicopter tumbles from the sky. No one can survive. That means I kiss the earth. I lick the earth. I rub it over my face. I like the earth very much. It feels solid. Home. I am my mother's son.
Why are you chewing the earth? Andy, I asked you, why are you chewing the earth? We reporters like to know the answers to questions like that. Now he's groaning at all. It's all right, you haven't been hit by any bullets. I made sure I pushed this little red button before Black Jack had a chance to pull his nasty little trigger. Pervert, eh?
What are you doing here?
I almost wasn't here, actually. My alarm didn't go off. I nearly overslept. Jolly handy, these little things, eh?
What?
Radio transmitters. Never actually thought it would work. I placed the bomb in the helicopter yesterday as per instructions while everyone was watching Julian Knight in the swimming pool, and turned up here this morning hiding among the trees to watch the fun. Waited for the right moment, pressed the button, and bang went the helicopter. Worked like a dream.
Immaculately dressed, of course. Wearily, I rose onto all fours, then a semblance of two. Shuffled off through the wood, and supporting me on one side, the bicycle on the other. In a clearing stood her Porsche, immaculate as a newborn sixpence. I dumped the bike in the boot, fell ungraciously into the passenger seat, and jumped neatly into the driving seat, always an agile girl, and off we ripped. Before any time had seemed to pass, we were on one of those endless motorways which these days seem to cover the country.
I suppose you want an explanation.
If you want to talk, by all means do. I'm quite happy just sitting here being alive.
First, I was a bright, bushy-tailed young reporter on Fleet Street, interviewing the rich and the famous.
Crisp and snide.
Then Nigel recruited me to work for Julian. On you.
Oh, so that's why poor old Nigel got it. Julian instructed you to bed me.
To keep an eye on you. Sort of mother you in the right direction. You, Andy, are Then Black Jack got in touch, made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
Money?
Promotion, actually. I'm being made editor of the women's pages from next month.
Oh, congratulations. I'm sure the women of Britain can feel safe in your hands. So how come you felt it necessary to blow up poor old Black Jack?
Another phone call. Does play an important part in our lives, the telephone, doesn't it?
By now we were doing 90 in the fast lane, the sun beating down on my beaten body, Anne's well-groomed hair flying in the wind.
Ask who phoned me.
Who phoned you?
I really don't know. Not for sure. But he sounded sweet. Made me another offer.
Fleet Street's first woman editor?
Mustn't count our chickens.
Cluck, cluck. Who was he?
He was calling Intercontinental. You know, on one of those lines that get sent through countless satellites before they come back to Earth, so he was a bit crackly, but he had a very nice voice. Texan, I think. Or maybe Australian. I can never tell the difference. He arranged for the bomb to be delivered to me and everything. I expect we'll find out who he is in the next few months. Just watch the financial pages.
Whichever international conglomerate swallows up Natural and AFCO, you mean?
Something like that. I always find the financial papers so boring.
Oh, I don't. Anne?
Yeah?
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
What do you suggest we do about these creatures, these great, powerful vultures that hover over our world, ruling it and manipulating it to their heart's desire, causing havoc in our lives, devouring whatever they choose?
Don't get worked up about them, Andy. Just make sure you attach yourself to a star in the ascendant, that's all. Ours is not to reason why.
I want to get out.
Pardon?
Please stop the car and let me get out.
We're in the middle of a motorway.
You can stop on the verge. I'll carry my bike over the fields till I find a lane, and then I'll make my slow, own way back to London. Stop the car.
What do you mean? We're going back to my flat for a celebration. I've got a breakfast hamper laid on from Fortnum's. Then I thought we might spend a week in Paris.
Stop the car.
Look, Andrew, I saved your life. I kept my eye on you throughout this whole affair, mothered you. Is it your male pride that's been hurt? Andy, I can help you. I'm going to be a very powerful person in journalism. I'll be able to put work your way, boost your magazine circulation. We'd make a great team. Me with my thrust, you with your idealism.
From now on, I'm only going to bed with women with hairy legs.
Stop you!
The car ground to a halt on the verge. I went round to the boot and started to haul the bike out. She came back. For the first time since I'd known her, I think she was sincere.
I admire you. Really. You're an idealist. But I don't understand what battles there are you feel you've got to fight.
Warmed by an inner smugness, I cycled through the leafy back lanes of rural Essex before catching a suburban train back to inner London. By midday, I was climbing familiar steps to a familiar door.
Andy? Where have you been? Where have you... Oh...
Shirley threw herself into my arms, all her body wet with tears.
You were meant to be here on Thursday night at our special time, and you didn't turn up. And I haven't heard hide nor hair of you since.
I bathed luxuriously in this unexplained affection. What was also unexplained was Shirley's two black eyes.
Oh, lovely cornflakes these. A Niagara of cornflakes.
Anyhow, what happened was, after you'd arrived and then your man friend...
He wasn't any friend of mine.
Deirdre went out to the front door and started, well, confronting him with his own masculine aggression.
Kicking his head in with her Doc Martens, you mean?
She's a woman, you know. She does have a right to defend herself. Anyhow, after a while, it seemed to be going on a bit long, and Deirdre had kicked him down 2 flights of stairs. And I felt, maybe I should try to get in between. We women are non-violent, you know. So I tried to stop them. And Deirdre gave me 2 black eyes.
Oh, never mind.
Anyhow, what I want to say is that since this incident, I've been re-evaluating my relationship with Deirdre. And with you, and... Well, I feel that perhaps... Well, you and I might...
Yes?
Well, I thought to myself, although babies are definitely sexist, there's no two ways about it. Babies oppress women. I also thought babies are organic. They're natural. Babies are right, Andy.
Oh, yes, Shirley. Yes.
I've been working it all out. Your role as houseperson, a rota of housework in which the traditional stereotypes forced on women aren't... Do you approve of babies? Do you, Andy?
Of course.
Well, then I can tell you the full truth. I've just found out. I'm pregnant.
No.
Yes!
Our two bodies are not young, strained and stretched with the years, but in a bed they fit comfortably, friendlily together. I lie through the night with Shirley's head on my arm, thinking. A lover, a child, my bike, a roof over our heads, and the greatest story of my journalistic career. The dawn breaks glorious in the east. Tower blocks in Hackney flame with light. I plan my story. As down from the skies start to flock the electronic messages and deals and data from the world's stock markets, London awakes to another day of global business. It was for me. He spoke in an Australian accent, or maybe Texan, from far, far away. He too had heard the good news, hoped I would have many more sons to my name, who would all grow up safely beneath the benign influence of global business. Recommended I concentrate in my journalism on saving the occasional whale.
Who was that? Who was that?
Perhaps catastrophe is the natural human condition, and though we spend endless energy trying to escape it, we're programmed for survival in the midst of such catastrophe.
Some of the Sun was written by John Fletcher. Andy was played by Nick Chilvers, Rogers by Trevor Nichols, Stanley by Nick Brimble, Julian by Clive Francis, Kite by Gregory de Paulnay, Anne by Caroline Blakiston, Sir Jack by Conrad Phillips, and Grey by Rex Holdsworth. It was directed by Brian Miller.